they're very good. The Democrats are great at taking orders, right? So they're given their marching orders, and they'll get in line and do what they're told, including the sort of this bizarre compliant media, right? I mean, look again, this event today where Trump went to speak in Chicago, and a bunch of the journalists there protested, right? Oh my God, how could we invite him? And you're thinking, wait a minute, you're a fucking journalist. Aren't you supposed to be curious and inquisitive and listen to ideas and report on what's happening? And they were all protesting. He shouldn't be here. I mean, right. Oh God. So,
yeah. We're just. I don't understand how this is going to work out to the point of an election. And do you think it was their idea to put her in so late that it gave them a chance to just kind of force feed all of this in a short amount of time? I mean, obviously having the debate in June was strange, but do you think that was part of it, was so they could put her in just so late, jam her in, and just force her down everybody's throat as quickly as possible before everything could come out?
Yeah, I mean, I think, there's probably a lot to that. I think the DNC strategists, who tend to be pretty smart, I think that I can see they'd probably come up with something like that. And look, she could very well be successful in kind of hiding out for the next 90 days or so, right? Yeah. Not do many interviews, not have to address the fact that she and a small cadre of people, Biden's family, Klain, Karine Jean-Pierre, some of the folks who write around Anita Dunn, right around Biden, basically lied to the American public for quite some time now about his actual abilities and condition. And she's probably not even going to have to answer to that, much less explain her positions, which seem to be changing every day. She gave an event down in Georgia last night, and it's really worth pulling up some of the clips from that event, listening to her speak. And not that she's the first politician to do this, but suddenly she sounds like she's from the deep South. She's from California, and yet she's talking like she's like, what was her name? Butterfly McQueen from Gone with the Wind. Suddenly she was born and raised in the deep South, and she's got this accent. And you think, again, okay, not atypical. Other, Clinton did it. Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, Obama did it too, but he also had charisma.
Yeah, Obama had charisma, and not a purse full of hot sauce that nobody believed.
Wow, that's a good pull right there.
That was an incredible. That was the most pandering.
Well, saying you didn't know Biden had dementia was like Jonathan Silverman and Andrew McCarthy saying they didn't know their boss was dead.
Yeah, that's. For the last year, he had the movements of a guy who had a bear trap attached to him, and he was peeing on an electric fence at the same time. It was just frozen, and he couldn't drag himself anywhere. And for some reason, they were like, yeah, he's perfectly stable to me.
The best Biden ever.
Yes, he's quote. He just introduced himself to furniture and had a 12-minute conversation with it.
And called Trump his vice president, so, yeah.
Yeah. God. But I mean, again, she won't have to account for that. I don't think that, the media is it's not just that they're incurious. They're part of the machine.
Don't you think they have less influence than ever, though? I feel like they do.
Well, you know what? I guess you could argue that because, all the different ways people get their information and their news, but I think they still pack a punch. So.
Oh, I absolutely do. I mean, I feel like we all know people who are propagandized by the media, and I feel like they also go harder now because they kind of have carte blanche too in a way they didn't when I was younger. Don't you agree?
Yeah, I do agree.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think like something like back when, say, there was always a talk about a liberal slant, and say when George W. Bush was president, Ronald Reagan was president, and they would analyze the bias, and they would say like it was maybe like 40-60 when it was Trump, it was like 10-90, and I'm like, where the fuck did you find the positive 10%? I didn't see any.
Yeah, look, the Republicans have this is why I think they're probably going to lose, right? And I like Republican policies. That's kind of where I sit. I'm basically a centrist, but national security, small government, fiscal responsibility, all the kind of the old school shit that used to mean something. But what have they done? The Republicans have given them really the only things that motivate the Democrats: Trump and they've given them abortion, right? So they made a big deal about that, right? And they just can't help themselves on the abortion issue. So those are the two things that motivate Democrats, even the ones that were going to, just sit in their house and not unask the sofa on voting day. They'll get out there now because the Republicans gave them what they needed to motivate all their voters. And then you've got that power of self-righteousness, right? So all the people who may not have really voted or wanted to vote, now they're like, oh, look at me. I can go out and vote for the first woman of color. And that makes me special. How righteous am I? And so that's a powerful feeling that you can't underestimate. So all of that combined leaves me with a sadly cynical feeling that we're going to have a commander-in-chief named Harris here in not too distant future.
Oh, my God.